Hey there, it's Trisha, and I want to go over a few things from Friday, November 20th. And I will not be doing another webinar until January. Figure December is busy for everybody, so we'll just skip December. And we use a handful of setups with a couple charts. And if you'd like to get more information on those setups, you can go to www.easyemintrade.com. And please remember that if you do get the setups in the ebook, you can come into the education chat room for 3 days for free. So just a reminder for those of you that have not taken advantage of that yet. Now, I want to go over a few things from Friday because we oftentimes talk about support and resistance and how important it is to know where price is likely to go, or where is resistance, and let's wait to get through that area. So if you have a very strong area, you really should wait to get through it and then look to take the entry, or at least know what you have at least above you or below you to be profitable. So somebody sent me an email saying that right here they got in under this bar. We have a setup occurring. We are above the 50% retracement, which also puts us in line with a support area support and resistance area from Thursday, and I'll go over that in just a minute. But I don't have my ADX above 20 at that point, but they did. So obviously if they entered in above this bar here, they would have been in for this move. But they would like to know that this 1092.75 is right above their head. And if you look over here on my 2000 tick chart, you can see that I have that marked from the previous day. And if you look at Thursday, you can see that this is the area right here. So it was acting as a resistance area for most of the day. So resistance, 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 resistance. Did get through that. Then when you do get through resistance, then what was once resistance is likely to turn into support. So good to remember that. So here you are here, just under that area, and this is the bar that it's setting up on. So you did come right up to that resistance area, and then you pulled back, price pulled back. So, had you known that that was the area that you'd want to pay attention to, you would have taken your profits, at least majority of them, off the table there, and left maybe just one contract open in the event that it did continue to move up through that area. And here you get a close outside the channel as well. Indicator above 20, everything's in line, but I will point this out. You do have divergence, and what I mean is you have lower low here than here, while on your indicator you actually have a higher low. So that would lead you to believe that price is going to bounce. But with that said, this red line here is 1088 area, and this has been a really strong area of support and resistance for quite a while. And I'll show you on a longer time frame chart that area so you see what I'm talking about. And also right below us we have the low from Thursday. So if somebody were to take this entry, once it got under the 1088 area, they would have to know that right below them is a likely area where you're going to bounce. So when you're trading in an area where you have support above you and resistance below you, it is really best to wait to get through those areas and just take some range trades. Otherwise, if you do take something that closes outside the channel and everything is in line to take it, all fine and good, but you have to have enough room above you or below you in order to be profitable. Somebody sent me an email asking about here. This on my chart looks almost as if the bar closed right on it, possibly closed right below it. Hard to tell really without seeing it real time, but even with that said, you still have the 1088 area below you. So if you take that, you know that going into the trade, so nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with taking it, but you just have to be aware that if it bounces, then just get out. So it's up to you to decide what kind of risk you're willing to take. There's no right or wrong, it's just what is going to work for you and what you're willing to try. So right now you're looking at a 60-minute chart, and this is the 1088 area, and you can see that on Thursday was a very strong area, and then many different days all the way back to October, it has been a really strong area of support and resistance. Support here, resistance here, support, resistance, resistance, support and resistance, support, resistance. So you get the idea that that has been a really strong area for quite a while. So best that you need to pay attention to that area. So lately when we've been trading around it, it winds up basically acting as support and resistance again. So that's what the red line is drawn on both of these charts. It's that 1088 area. So that's why I say to just know where those areas are and pay attention to them. When you look on Thursday, we did have an area where we were trading within a range, and you could see this line here represents this line, and this line here actually you can see this was a very strong support area, then a resistance area, then a support area, and that actually is right where the 50% retracement is on the on Friday's 1 minute chart. So just want to point out that you really do need to pay attention to those areas, and when you are in a range bound day, then just get through those areas and then look to take a continuation setup. Don't push for something that's not going to happen, because if you're stuck in a range, hitting your head in the same area of resistance and support over and over again, don't beat yourself up. Keep trying to take the trade. Just wait to get through it, regardless of if you have a setup occurring for a continuation or not. So you did have this continuation set up later in the afternoon. It was at, what time was that? 144, but you have the 50% retracement right above your head. So anything that you took, you had to know that it could be difficult getting through that area. This area here also coincides with a support and resistance area from Thursday. So again, best to wait to get through that area and then look for the setup and just continue to do range trade setups. Next, there was a setup that occurred at, I think it was like 319. Here you go. And so you would have got in and it would have worked out. And again, came right up to that area of resistance that we talked about this morning, 1092.75. So you would have gotten about a point out of it. You have the bar closing outside the channel, but your indicator is not in line here until this bar, so you would have entered in above the high of that bar, and it would have taken your entry on the next bar. Then you would have moved your entry to a quarter above that bar, and wouldn't have been filled, then closed inside the channel. So then you get the idea. You would have to basically follow it until it finally did, and it did here. You would have gotten filled here at basically 1091 on this bar here. And what I mean by filled is when you close outside the channel, typically you're putting an order quarter above that setup bar. And for me, if it doesn't get filled on the next bar, if price does not trade to that price, to my entry price, then I'm canceling and waiting for the next opportunity. So here you're not in line, and because your indicator, and so then you're in line here on this bar here. So anyway, I hope that helps, and if you'd like to get more information about the setups, just go to www.easyemintrade.com, and I do hope that helps.